Chantal has no idea what I'm about to do. So in terms of stepping into the unknown, Chantal, be afraid, be very, very afraid. But I think we should start with an arse wiggle because we've been sitting for a long time. So everybody on your feet. Now, if you're going to arse wiggle properly, your buttocks actually have to slap together. It's about circulation, it's about getting into the lower part of our body. It's really like, ah. Okay, make the sound, ah. Louder, ah. Okay, now it's got to be pleasurable. Close your eyes and do it. Ah. Okay, I feel so much better. Thank you. Now I'm going to invite us to stretch time. Like, just stretch time, because I want to give you an experience. I'm going to introduce you to why I'm doing what I'm doing, but then I want to give you an experience. And I want us to sort of let that experience stretch a little. So I'll just tell you why I'm doing what I'm doing, apart from the fact that the climate is going crazy and we need trees more than just about anything else that we could possibly do right now. Tree Sisters was given to me in a car crash. And I've been thinking about that car crash recently, because actually what happened was I was banging around on ice. I was banging from one side of the road to the other. And actually what happened wasn't I crashed into a tree stopped me from going over an edge. If that tree hadn't stopped me, I probably wouldn't be here today. That is very symbolic. Reforestation could actually stop humanity going over an edge. It took me only about 5 years to realize that one. When I crashed, there was a blinding flash of white light, 2 words in the light, the experiment, and a voice started talking to me as if there was a man sitting in the car next to me. Humanity is running out of time, but it's not over yet. It's going to take all of us rising to the challenge to get through what's coming. The single greatest threat facing humanity is fear of failure. But you can get over that fear by calling everything you do an experiment, because you can't fail an experiment, you can only learn. Which, even wrapped around a tree, I thought was pretty brilliant. And so I said, well, what's the experiment? And back came, you have to reforest the tropics within 10 years. That was not something I had signed up for. But what came next was even more outrageous. You have to mobilize the women. The women are the missing piece. The women are the womb carriers, and Earth is womb. Women and nature share a common history. We all know what's happened to both of us. You can only rape your mother for so long until she becomes psychotic. What a surprise, we are having an increasingly psychotic planet. Feminine consciousness is the consciousness of seasons, of cycles, of life. Women naturally know how to be in harmony. We have the rhythms and the cycles in our bodies. Your project is called Tree Sisters. You have to make it as normal to give back to nature as it currently is to take it for granted. Can you imagine what that actually means? That is a complete consciousness shift from what I'm calling a consumer species to a restorer species. That's turning ourselves inside out to recognize, be willing to recognize we have taken everything for granted. That is the mindset that we've been brought into. We're now standing at a precipice, waking up to what's our actual responsibility, what's our actual capacity as a species. Are we going to continue and destroy, or are we going to have this radical awakening? How do we have that radical awakening? And what I was told was, women have to remember who and what we really are. Feminine consciousness has to be reinstated, or it's over. End of transmission. I'd love to tell you all about Tree Sisters, but I don't have long up here, and I want to have my way with you. Women have to remember who and what we really are. What the hell are we? Because we're sure as hell not what we've been taught we are. And then I met an amazing guy, the Dalai Lama's Thangka painter, Romeo Shrestha, and he was hunting for goddesses. And I was like, why are you hunting for goddesses? And he said there is an ancient Tibetan myth that when 1,000 goddesses gather, the divine feminine will be rebirthed through their combined energies. And this light went on, and I was just like, oh my God, why are you looking for like actresses and models and all the rest of us? That's all of us. That is every woman. Every woman wears the goddess's face. We are all here as her if we can remember who and what we really are. When 1,000 goddesses gather, when enough of us can come together, drop out of our egos, be willing to open to the greaterness of ourselves, we can become a birthing circle for a new consciousness. It's not woo-woo. We actually have to do it. Like we have to, we get to do it, as my husband would say. We get to do it. The forest is an amazing metaphor for this. And I believe that if we actually learn from the forest, we may have a chance. We all know now that the forest floor is this incredible, interwoven, interdependent dance between the trees, the roots themselves, and the mycelial network, where the fungus and the roots are basically consistently in communication, that all the trees are supporting each other. If anyone's in difficulty, the others flood their nutrients through this network to hold it up. If a tree is dying, if it's going to give up, it will just flood itself back in. If there's pests at one end of the forest, they will communicate to each other. Because in a forest, everybody is holding everybody up. Everybody is taking care of each other. If a tree comes down, there's a gap in the canopy. The wind can get in and start uprooting and changing the system in there. Trees aren't competing with each other in a forest the way that we thought they were competing with each other. They are basically a model for resilience, for brilliance, through unconditional love, through absolute care, and we are all in this together. So if we are going to discover what it means to be women, if we're going to redefine sisterhood, which is basically, I think, the path through, because we have to find that safety that Chantal was talking about, that safety with each other that allows us to really become what we are, like risk bringing our vulnerability, our messiness, our strength, our beauty, everything that we're used to suppressing in order to be the thing that is safe for everybody. Oh, am I enough? Is this okay? Oh, does everybody like me? It's like we've got to move into the place of, can I look at you and invite the more of you? Can I look at you and invite the more of you? Can you be with me and invite the more of me? Together, can we hold each other up? Can we become a sisterhood that can actually birth a new consciousness, because a new consciousness is needed? So let's close our eyes and let's be in the forest. Let's imagine those mighty trees all around us, all around us. And feel for a moment their presence, those mighty boughs, those great branches, their immense stature, their patience, their generosity. Sink into your bottom a little more. Breathe out, let go of your belly, drop down, feel your feet. And take your energy down below this floor, down below this hotel, down below, into this earth. And see if you can let your own energy root in with the root system of the trees. And see if you notice the whole energy in the room shifting. Take yourself down, really down. Down to a place where our personalities don't matter. Down to a place where we don't need to know who or what we are. Down to a place where your roots can start to mingle with the roots of all the other women and men in this room. And I'm just going to invite you to flood your nutrients into that root system. Just love them, because you can, because you have a heart. Let your heart open for every person in this room for everything they have lived through, everything they have dreamt, everything they have endured. And then choose to believe in them. And flood that down into your root system. And feel it circulating. And then on an in-breath, see whether you can let that back in. See whether you can let yourself feel the whole room believing in you. Can you let that back up into your root system? Can you draw it up into your womb, if you have one, into your heart, which we all have? And then I'm going to invite you to let that upsurge of energy of other people's support of you bring you to your feet, eyes still closed, to actually just form the trunk of your own tree. Just stand up, just feel your feet firmly on the ground, and actually just feel the strength of your own trunk when you are woven into a system that is believing in you. Let yourself be loved. Let yourself be believed in. And then let that raise your arms up and let your hands go up. It's full moon. It's full moon and the trees are out there and they're doing their thing, and the trees do not hold back, not one thing. They are total. So let your hands be like the leaves. You're sensing. Women are here to sense. That's what we do. That's what we are. So in this moment, just feel what this is like. And just open your eyes briefly and look around and just see this forest. Look at this forest. And then feel your roots again and say thank you through your roots. And with your arms up, feel as if you're reaching up for this more that we are, for this sacred feminine that can birth through all of us. Just be a yes in this moment. Be your own invitation to the divine feminine, the sacred feminine. You're actually saying, I'm here, help me be all that I can be. Help me lift all my sisters up. Help me lift myself up. And see, when you bring your arms down, see if you can find the shape of your queen if you are a woman, and your king if you are a man. Like, feel that stature that a tree has in its fullness. Feel that stature. What is the shape of your queen? And just let yourself feel it. Let yourself become it. Like, find a shape. In your dignity, in your authority, how do you stand? Can you let yourself feel it? Could you show that to another woman? Could you invoke that in another woman? Her full magnificence. Can you really let your body do it? And then just reach up one more time. Reach up, back up to the moon, back up and say, show me to myself, show me to myself. As high as you can stretch, really stretch. Feel the whole surface of your body receptive. And this time ask to be shown your wild woman, your shamana, this other part of your consciousness that knows exactly how she is woven into all that is, that can bring through a completely different consciousness. And when you bring your arms down, find the shape of her. How does she live inside your body? What is her shape? How does she stand? How does she move? And let's invite this energy into this conference. Let's invite the queen in all of us, the authority in all of us, the wild woman in all of us, the part of us that knows how to feel, how to listen, how to be fully present to each other, how to stay in our bodies, how to listen to our bodies. So just take your seat and see if you can stay with that feeling. See if you can feel what in you feels more alive, and stay with that aliveness. There's something completely magical that happens when somebody looks at us and looks for the part of us that is most connected and most vivid and most wild and most alive and most unafraid from that part of themselves. It's like it calls it up like two tuning forks answering each other. We can either look at each other from our insecurity and our need to feel safe, or we can blast that out of the way and risk just standing there and saying, okay, where is she in you? Where is the you that I know is in there, who can call forth the me that I know is in here, so that together we can have a completely radical experience between us, because we're inviting it, we're invoking it, we're a stand for nothing less than the most that can happen in this moment between us. I'm going to swear. I am shit scared of climate change. I mean, I'm terrified. I don't like being hungry. I don't like being cold. I don't like a world that is going crazy. I like things to be secure. They're not, and they're not going to be. And that calls forth something in me. There is a point where you have to look at what's going on and realize that a gauntlet is being thrown down to us from life, and life is saying, really? What are you as a species? Who are you as a species? Who are we as women? We get to define it. What we've been told we are is not it. It is not it. How can the masculine even know how to show up if the feminine's lost herself? The masculine, God bless them, and God bless that in ourselves. This is an inherited mess for all of us. We're just doing what we've been taught. Okay, it's not working. It's done its time. What comes now has to come from the feminine, has to come from the feminine. The masculine can't put the feminine back on her throne. Only we can do it. And we have to do it. And we have to do it together. We have to do it for each other. We have to take those strides for each other. And that can be beautiful, and that can be incredible. And that's what gives me hope. Because we have no idea what we're capable of. None. We're severed from here. It's like when this creates lives. Science doesn't even understand how the hell we do that. We don't know how we do that. We have no idea what we're capable of. That gives me hope. We don't know what we can do with our minds. We don't know what we can do with our psyches. We don't know what we can do with our hearts. It's all in front of us to discover, but we've got to risk it. And so my invitation to you is over these next few days. Give yourselves to each other. Dare, in every interaction when you meet somebody new, look for her. Look for her. And if she's going, go, I'm waiting. Or maybe just go, I'm waiting, depending on how sarcastic you're feeling in the moment. I'm going to end with a poem. It's brief, Chantal, don't worry. I wrote this. I love it. And you're going to love it too. But I'd like you just to turn and look at these extraordinary people that are in this room, because this is for all of you. And this is how I would like you, this is how I invite you to see each other and greet each other over this next few days. It's called You. Inside you, in the places where whispers carry memories, where you hold your breath, turn away, and believe yourself less, there is a truth. A truth as gentle as a melody, as limitless as the sky, as honest as a mountain lake. No push, no need to try. A truth that shimmers with the light of you, the bright of you, the irrepressible delight of you, the take my breath away flight of you, the I will not go silently into the night of you, the oh my God, just feel the might of you, the break me wide open sight of you. When at last you have embraced all of you, accepted the night and day of you, the luminescent, spontaneous grace of you. I want you to know that I am in awe of you. All of you. Every microcosmic, wild, orgasmic inch of you. Every wild, unfettered gesture of alive in you. Thank you for you.